up, everybody, and welcome back to the Mythic Cast Episode 2. It's BBKDRAGOON here. We've missed you. It's been about a month, a little bit over, maybe 5 or 6 weeks. Today on the show, we're going to be talking and reviewing Halo at E3, what went down, going into the Halo Wars 2 beta with some feedback and discussion. We also want to talk about the Firefight content update, how it was received, what we liked, and then what is next for the content updates. We're going to do a brief discussion on Bravo's remarks about the growing Halo 5 population with the highest monthly active user base since Halo 3 and how that's causing a stir, which is kind of weird. We're also going to be talking about the possible leaked release date of Halo 6 and a bit more. Joining me are my two regulars, Rippin and Lurker Zero. How are you guys? What'd you do in the last 5 weeks? What's new?
Yeah, not too bad. Moving house, that's very stressful. Relaxing and enjoying summer since we've actually got some good weather for once. So that's what
It's not raining?
No.
So you've been outside playing Pokemon Go, haven't you?
Yes. Basically, that's been my last 2 weeks.
Okay. Lurker, what's new, man?
Not much. Played some Halo, got to get in a few Warzone games, a few BTB games, which was nice. And I also finally stopped procrastinating and finished Dark Souls 3 twice, so that's good. Other than that,
Twice.
Yeah, just enjoying the summer, even though it's sweltering here.
Is it nasty, man? Oh, I'm tired of
Yeah,
the
it's
heat.
like
I'm ready for it
98
to
degrees with like the heat index is out of control. It's rough.
Yuck.
It's humid here as well.
Well, we also have a special guest on with us today, Luke TheNotable. Thank you for joining us, man. Welcome to the Mythic Cast.
The most specialist of guests. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. We have Luke TheNotable on the set. What's up, guys?
How you doing, man?
Welcome.
I'm doing good. I'm a little tired. I work third shift, so I got like an hour and a half of sleep. But you know what? Some people say I'm a little bit more funny when I don't have a lot of sleep. So it's going to be an interesting one.
Have we reached that sort of point, the delirious point where almost anything is funny?
You know what? Actually, last night I was recording because I work security, so I have tons of time if nothing's going on to record videos. And I was recording I did a Q&A for 13,000, which I just hit like yesterday. And I made a point. Yeah, I made a point to like reply to every single comment on that video, which was probably one of the biggest mistakes you could ever make because I had like 550 comments that I had to do. So by the end, it's like 5 a.m. It's like 5 a.m. and I'm just like destroyed. And I'm just basically laying into all these comments because I'm like, wow, that is a terrible question. You got one shot and you asked this. How old are you, man? That's like, what? That's the only thing you can come up with?
Oh my gosh.
So I ended up having to like redo sections of it because I just was like, no, I'm being too mean right now. So hopefully that kind of carries over into this and we get to like see that side of me because that's kind of the side of me that exists in those videos where I really do those dumb things you see. Like, yeah, I don't know if any of you guys have been watching my channel. I know me and BBK, we make kind of similar stuff. We're on that tips grind. I started out as a tips channel, and then all of a sudden, one day, just randomly out of the blue, I snorted a line of Doritos, and from then, it changed. I started doing a lot weirder stuff. We'd still do the tips videos. Me and BBK, we have a way of explaining things that makes sense, but at the same time, sometimes I'll take a shot of G Fuel, and I'll go and I hung myself in a video one time. It's
because of the G Fuel.
You not try this at home.
My streams get weird like that too. That's why I can't stream on Twitch anymore. So I like to have fun with YouTube. I think that's the biggest thing. And I love the fans. That's why I do it. I love reading comments.
Steaktacular, do just a real quick plug because you're running one of the best Halo podcasts right now called Steaktacular. And what's the frequency of it? Where can people check it out? And where can people find your content?
Yo, I'm gonna let you finish Mythic Cast, but Steaktacular was one of the greatest Halo podcasts of all time. Anyway, okay. Steaktacular was a series where I just went on, and it started in the MCC when I had like no fans, and all I would do was like ramble about my day, ramble about Halo, whatever. Didn't catch on because no one cared what I had to say. I brought it back once I had fans, when people cared about what I had to say, and it blew up. I've got almost 20 episodes, essentially like 45 to hour-long minute videos. That didn't make sense.
It did.
Hour minute videos. But essentially, it's just me talking about stuff going on with the Halo community. I've had tons of special guests on, like Actman, Reflex Halo, Proximity, Big Texas, Late Night Gaming. Who else? Favian was on recently. Samaritan, guys like those. We have them on all the time. Not every week. Sometimes it's just me rambling, but it's something that it's kind of like a personal opinion. It's not analytical, but it's just talking about Halo, and that's what it is. So if you guys want to check out, if you guys like long videos, which you're watching this, so obviously you do, that's definitely where you want to go. Steaktacular.
Well, very good, boys. I think it's time that we hop into the news. So first up on the docket, E3. We talked about it a bunch in the first episode of the Mythic cast. We all came in with tons of predictions. We're like, no, there's no way they're just going to show off Halo Wars 2. We've got to see some sort of cinematic trailer for Halo 6, or we're going to see some sort of trailer for a future content update. That didn't really end up happening. It just was basically the Halo Wars 2 trailer and the announcement of the Halo Wars 2 beta, which I enjoyed quite a bit. But I just want to get your guys' feedback about E3 2016, some of the news that we saw from Halo. Were you a little bit disappointed? Because I'll just open by saying, I think if they really wanted to take in full advantage of the opportunity that is the E3 stage and the viewership, announce that the Halo 5 had a free-to-play period coming up really soon after E3. I think that would have just been a nice adding to what you could do rather than just the Halo Wars 2 trailer, which was sweet, but yeah. I can't help but feel it was a little bit of a missed opportunity. What do you guys think?
I think they just didn't want to show anything off yet, to be perfectly honest with you. I think Halo 6 is way down the line by the sounds of things. But I would have liked to have seen some Halo 5 content at least, even Forge is coming to PC or just anything like big like that. But they just kind of showed off all the new games for Xbox, which is understandable, really. And then Halo Wars 2 beta, which everyone seemed to enjoy. That was about it, really, for Halo. I enjoyed E3, though.
You see, Microsoft was trying to focus more on their console that's coming out, the Xbox One S, which just
console?
PSA, guys, it does not play 4K video games, just 4K video. A lot of people think...
it upscales. That's where people are getting confused. Upscales the game to 4K, but it will run in 1080p. It will look a bit sharper, but it'll make absolutely no difference if you have a non-4K TV. It'll make no difference at all. People think it's a 4K console. It's just a glorified Netflix 4K machine, really.
Exactly.
It looks quite nice. Looks quite nice, though. I would get one if there was any point in changing my old console for a new one, but I don't have a 4K TV, so...
Like, if you're in the market for a new console, get the Xbox One S. There's nothing, nothing against that. You don't buy the old one. But don't get the new one just because you want it, or I guess if you want to get it, if you have the money, get it. But a lot of people think that it's going to play your games in 4K, and no, that's the the Scorpio, whatever the hell.
Scorpio,
but that's going to be an expensive. We could talk about that later. But I feel like Microsoft, there wasn't much on Halo. They didn't, like Rippin said, there wasn't much that they had, so they couldn't really, even with the nature of E3 being a lot of times just showing kind of concepts of stuff. I feel like they didn't really have enough at the time, so they couldn't really show us much.
I learned more from the actual PC Gamer conference about Halo Wars 2 than I did during the actual Xbox conference. And you're exactly right, Luke. They focused entirely on the console announcements. Scorpio, I did like a 30-minute discussion with one of my buddies who's a professional tech YouTuber, and just looking at the specs of Scorpio right now, it's looking to be like a $700 to $800 rig if it were to be released like currently right now. Like, it's pretty beast what's in there. But the interesting thing that the discussions I had afterwards were that Halo 5 has a dynamic resolution that can change on the fly to maintain 60 FPS. And a lot of the articles I was reading is they're engineering games this way in anticipation of Scorpio, so that when Scorpio releases, you could see a game like Halo 5 having the technical capabilities of being rendered at 4K. We already know it's going to be 4K for the Forge element on Windows 10, but I just find that really interesting because we were all sort of salty, at least a few of my friends were, about that dynamic resolution. Like, oh, it's not 1080p all the time. What's up with that, bro? But Scorpio, man.
I don't know. I actually kind of I preferred the beta, honestly. The graphics, I feel like, were so much cleaner with the 7. Like, yeah, it was 720p, but the lighting looked so much better. Now, that's just my opinion. I look back at some of my beta gameplay, and I'm like, this is like really, really nice. It looks really sharp. The shadows are nice, but it was because it was running at 720p. You're still 60 FPS, but that's just my opinion. I'm more for higher quality versus losing performance just because you have to be at that magic number of 1080p or 4K.
So why don't we dive into the Halo Wars 2 beta that was coming out. I do like when on the E3 stage they go, and it's gonna be out either right now or in like the next day or two, which was great with the Halo Wars 2 beta. I know, Luke, you made a lot of videos for the original Halo Wars, did you not?
Oh yeah, I still make videos for the Halo Wars. It's one of the it's a really, really strong community. I mean, the game came out 7 years ago. And I uploaded a Halo Wars video maybe a few months ago, and it has like 22,000 views. I mean,
nice.
It's people play this game all the time. People play Halo Wars 1, and I keep making videos because people keep asking for it. They really enjoy the game. They really enjoy, and I do tips, so they really enjoy learning about new strategies and stuff like that. I'm really excited for Halo Wars 2 because of that, because it has such a long-lasting community. You can still find games on it right now.
Very cool. I played a bunch of the beta. I never played the original Halo Wars. I'm a StarCraft 2 fanboy. I love StarCraft 2 to death, and so I really enjoyed the Halo Wars 2 beta. I thought the 2v2 choice was smart. It gave people sort of a stick to lean on or a buddy to rely on in case they're brand new to RTS. You don't have to feel like you're going it alone, as ruthless as 1v1 can be. I found the domination mode to be pretty fun. And I'm glad that they let us try 2 races out, and so we didn't have to do a bunch of mirror matchups throughout that week of play. I will say this, though. I think I'm going to try and have a PC built by the time the actual game comes out. The beta performance was rather rough, finding it tough to even hold 30 FPS. I watched a bunch of the tech channels go in depth about it, and when you're actually moving from location to location pretty often, it's around 20 and 22 FPS. And I know that's acceptable for a beta. It's an early build, right? But did you notice some of that weird texture pop in when you were playing, Luke? Like if you jumped to a new location? It looked like puzzle pieces, right?
The controls didn't feel smooth. Nothing felt ready. But again, it's a beta, so you can't really bash it. I watched a ton of videos about, with the Halo Wars 2 game needs to, be great. And almost everyone said, the controls suck. Well, it's a beta, dude. I mean,
I know.
They're gonna suck. And I like what you said about building a PC. I did watch that video where you talked, I don't remember his name. I just remember there was Gears of War gameplay in the background, right? And you were talking about the Scorpio and all that stuff. And I think people should start looking towards building a PC, because what you're saying in that video was Xbox might be a service just like Steam someday. We might just see all our favorite Xbox games on the PC, and if that happens, hell, you better be in 4K. I'm not a big fan of mouse and keyboard, but I just don't. I don't feel as connected. I know I don't feel as connected.
My heart just broke.
I've tried. It's not like I haven't tried. My laptop can do it. I've downloaded, Steam. I've purchased things off the Steam sale, and I can't. It's not as good. It's not as good to me. I just don't feel as connected. I like the controller feel.
I'd like to say I agree. Gosh. I hate mouse and keyboard unless it's for an MMO. That is about it. Sorry.
True, MMO is different, but even when I play Team Fortress 2 on my PC, which is very rarely, sometimes I'll do it at work. I gotta bring my Xbox controller, and I know that hurts because FPS is where mouse and keyboard has a distinct advantage, but I can't. It feels too weird. It feels too weird to me.
Yeah,
it's just foreign.
I think along that same line, it's perfect to bring this up. The main theme of E3 for Microsoft was the fact that their first-party titles are on the Xbox Play Anywhere program, meaning you can play it on Windows 10 and on the Xbox platform, whether you have a 1 or a 1S or a 1 Scorpio. When you buy that game, you then own it and can play it across their platforms. I think it was Phil Spencer in an interview said very clearly he sees no reason why all first-party titles moving forward will not have, or should not have, I phrased that horribly. Look, Halo 6 is probably going to be available on the Xbox Play Anywhere program, which means the next Halo title is most likely going to be available on Windows 10 and console. And I'm saying next as in the next FPS one. We already know Halo Wars 2 is in that program. You can play it on Windows 10 and on console. That is just huge news if true, man. The first major FPS Halo since CE and Vista to be coming to PC. Like, what do you think about that?
Good. We need it. Simple.
I agree.
Simple as that. We need it. It's going to be good. PC players have been wanting a Halo 4 since Halo 2 Vista. As long as we don't have cross-play all the time in matchmaking, but it is available in customs and campaign, good. That's what I want. Simple. Matchmaking separate, customs and campaign, do what you want. Yeah. More players, more people, more content, more everything. Good. That's it.
More people
Simple.
in the community. Yep.
Yep.
Lurker,
Yeah, I think it's a
back?
huge... yeah. Sorry, my internet's a little borked. I think it's a huge possibility for infusion of population into the franchise, which is however they work out the technical specificities, however you say that word. I think it's too important. Like the potential is too important. I've said this so many times. And I think giving people the option is, even in matchmaking, if you're running a Halo 6 on a PC, to plug in your controller and play just like everyone else would be a huge option for the population as well. I just think this step forward that Microsoft is taking, running as a platform instead of just, lonely console as the Xbox One has kind of been, is brilliant.
Yeah. I think the way you balance it too is the way Gears of War 4 is handling the crossplay thing. So Gears of War 4 will have cooperative crossplay between PC and the Xbox One for just the cooperative game modes, your campaigns, your horde. In Halo terms, that would be like Firefight. But for competitive multiplayer, no crossplay. And I think that's how you handle it exactly with Halo 6, is that for campaign, for Firefight, for cooperative, whatever they're going to be putting into the game, that can totally be crossplay. And that's an awesome way to play with others. Maybe even Forge. You could have somebody forging on an Xbox and playing alongside somebody who's forging on the Windows 10. But from the multiplayer perspective, I don't want to ever see mouse and keyboard players versus controller players on the console. I just think that would create too much of a, off-kilter dynamic. Because I grew up with mouse and keyboard. I love mouse and keyboard to death. Anytime I can use that over a controller, I will, because it's just more comfortable to me. Even though I've been playing Halo since CE, I love that mouse and keyboard side of things. But pretty cool.
What do you think of a PC player plugging in an Xbox One controller or
Go for
whatever?
it.
Yeah.
Whatever's most comfortable for you and whatever experience you relate with the most. That's the other thing, too, that I think is sort of funny is Halo's aiming and movement was designed originally around a controller. Bungie has spent forever back during the old days creating that secret sauce of how it feels to move and shoot with a controller. So I still want them designing Halo for a controller player, because that's what it is. Like, to me, that is the core identity of a Halo game, rather than PC shooters, which don't need to bring into play aim assist as much and have different mobility options for players with a different, skill ceiling of buttons they can press. I did a horrible job explaining that, but there's my 2 cents there. So
I meant specifically a PC player. So specifically a PC player, playing a cross-play Halo game, plugging an Xbox controller into their PC and being able to play cross-play if they conform to that controller mentality. That's what I would like to see, because I personally, I don't know about anybody else out there, but I don't particularly like the Xbox One, but I love Halo. So I would love to be able to build a PC and still get Halo.
Wow.
I love my Xbox One. I
Dude,
think
that's
it's the
a
best
hard
console.
question.
I love my Xbox.
I think enforcing that would be ridiculously hard.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be possible.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be possible. Like, PC players, even the good ones, always come across people who break the game, download hacks, whatever. It happens in every single PC game. Doesn't matter what it is, it happens. And it just happened on Halo, and we don't want that spreading to console. Consoles can resist it a bit more than PC players can, because they have open access to all the files. So I think we need some kind of split between PC player base and Xbox, but as long as we can still play together when we choose to in certain modes, I think that'd be okay.
Okay. I think we're good with E3 unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about. I'd love to just jump into the Firefight content update, get your guys' feedback and reaction there. Is that all right?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let's go for it.
All right, so it's the biggest and pretty much the last of our free DLC updates. We do know that there will be future content updates. What frequency and size, we don't know, but that was encouraging to hear that it's not over. Just down the road, we'll see what they have in store for us. What did you guys think about the Firefight update? Walk me through your experience the last few weeks playing it.
Shall I go first, as I probably have the more negative views, and then everyone else can cheer it up? Firefight isn't for me. It doesn't entertain me. I played it for 5 minutes.
We know this. You are such a
I did
arena.
I did score
gosh.
attack. I did one level on score attack and got all the achievements in a single go. So I was like, oh, that's that done. That's that feature
ripping.
broken and gone for me. And then Firefight, I actually think people who play in Firefight really enjoy it, and I've heard it's really good. I've played it 5 or 6 times, got my fun out of it. And the arena map, Molten, is brilliant. It's really good. And the update overall seemed very good for people who enjoy the more social side of things. For me, I would have liked like a TU2 Halo 3 update with like new XP systems and that kind of stuff. But I think the update is good, and I think 343 have done the best job of updating the game that I have seen on any console without any purchases that are forced upon you. So no DLC prices. Just the rec packs, I think, done a really good job overall. So even though I'm negative, I am really positive that 343 know what they're doing when they are selling the next game, and I hope they take this path once again. I think it's very good.
All right. Luke, what are your thoughts, man?
And what you said with, oh, well, I don't like the update, that's okay. That's what the updates are supposed to do. It's supposed to give you tons of different ways to play the game so that someone new coming in, maybe they'll like Firefight, maybe they'll like Warzone, maybe they'll like Arena. That's something that we didn't have when the game released. All we had was Arena and Warzone, and Arena was completely ranked. Now we have a lot more diversity in our playlists, how we can enjoy the game. So it's okay that you don't like Firefight. Firefight wasn't supposed to be fun for everybody. It was supposed to be fun for some people. Yeah. So, and I think it's great. It's okay. Like, I prefer to kill another player that can think. You know, that's like that's just
I get you.
that's always more fun for me. Like, to know that, oh, I killed him and maybe he spilled some of his Mountain Dew or his Doritos because he was a little angry. Or it's just so kind of like if someone has like a really nice wreck and I wreck in a plasma pistol and I take it from him, that always feels good, you know? And you don't get that same kind of feeling from Firefight. So for me, it's not that great. I'll play it. I did a couple videos on it, but it's nothing to write home about. It was fun for a little bit, but it wasn't personally for me. But I know guys that play Firefight all the time because they love that, like, going up against AI, the big scale battles. So and that's what's important here. And that's what I think 343 needs to do going forward, is they need to kind of just spread their game out a little bit. Halo 5 released too narrow, and then you just need to spread it out and then keep that going with Halo 6.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree 100%. Lurker, thoughts on the Firefight update, bro?
Oh, speaking of stealing a guy's wreck, I had a Warzone game where I lasered a guy and took his Nornfang the other day. That was hilarious.
I just unlocked everything yesterday, actually.
Yo, congrats.
But specifically speaking about Firefight, I think you hit it nail on the head there, Luke, in that Halo 5 started out very narrow and got wider as time goes on, and Firefight's just another aspect of that where PvE players who maybe don't like, sweating it out in Arena or even playing Warzone can go and just have some fun. And it's got a bit of challenge to it. If you don't have some coordinated teammates, you're definitely going to have less time of succeeding. I've had a few questionable moments in Firefight as well. I had one point where there's that where you fight 3 Warden Eternals on the beach there, that round, and I spawned in a Wasp. And the Wasp, they spawned me right above the 3 Warden Eternals, and I got just annihilated, just like right away. I was like, okay, thanks, guys. And then, it takes a long time to get your Rex back up at that point. But it's fun, it takes some team coordination. It's not just a like turn off your brain mode, but it's still PvE focused. It's not going to be as sweaty as Arena or as chaotic as Warzone can be. So I think it's a great addition to the game.
Agreed.
And we're talking a little bit. Hold on 1 second, BBK. I'm gonna let you finish. We're talking a lot about how all these updates are really great and how 343 is awesome for doing it, and they are. They're great. But we should praise them, but not in the way where it's like, yes, we want this exact system for Halo 6. Release us a finished game for Halo 6. We need to make that clear. Yes, you completed your game 8 months later. And we're happy with it now, and it's like in shippable status 8 months later, but this isn't how we want it to happen for Halo 6. We want everything to be there day one, and I think some people are missing that aspect of it. Like 343, we love you. You're doing great. Your game is awesome. For me, it's been awesome since day one, but release it complete next time around. You got you got 2 years at this
Right,
point.
I'm going to throw a question in then. What features do you want on launch that Halo 5 did not have? What would be
on this.
Oh,
I got
here we
What
go.
features
bro.
do you want on day one that Halo 5 did not have? What would be your key?
Campaign
Forge.
with scoring and theater, Forge, big team battle, ranked playlist with a mix of social playlists, the playlists we've come to expect and know and love from Halo, playlists that have earned a right to be in the multiplayer at all times. I'm talking about team snipers, doubles, action
on fire.
set. Dude, this thing gets me
Hercules.
so... It's been this way since the Halo Council podcast. If anybody remembers that from way back in the early Beyond days. Look, like Luke said, thank you guys for doing these updates. I'm so happy that you've continued with the game and you've completed it. But on day one, I want to expect a package of a Halo 3, which came with a very solid campaign with scoring right out the gate. You had the matchmaking, which was just so stinking good. Like, I love the rank and social distinction, but the playlist that I associate as being very core identifiers of a Halo game were there, and they were there from the very start. The theater worked. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to get a little frustrated here. I have had a 3.4 developer reach out to me because of the replay reviews saying, hey, we've seen the issues and we're going to work on them. But since the Firefight update went live, it has really messed up the theater system. Huge rubber banding. Wireframes don't work the way they're supposed to anymore. Fast forward doesn't work. They do this stupid little truffle shuffle
spring
thing.
glitch. I love that.
I mean, we're in the era where I believe Firefight is something we should expect in the game at launch. And it doesn't mean that we aren't grateful for these updates and that they didn't do a great job, because I think they did. But you guys, please have this stuff in at launch.
Don't
because
do it
that's
again.
How you see the community explode.
Everybody
Because
gets
this
one.
is the same story. They did this with 4, they did this with MCC, and they did it with Halo 5. It's released unfinished, and it becomes an amazing game 7-8 months later. Well, MCC is debatable, okay? But 4 and 5... Remember 4, how long we waited for the turbo update?
Pretty complete.
Well, let me just say this right now. I got blocked on Twitter by Bravo for reminding him that Halo 4 free-for-all took 6 months to come into the game. He unblocked me.
Yeah, and
Like,
ranking...
it took six months for free-for-all in a Halo game.
It took ranks until April, the following April
Halo
after
4 doesn't
November
have ranks.
release.
They have fake numbers. They don't
CSR.
actually mean anything.
Look,
It's
I
not
like
a ranking
CSR
system.
behind the scenes because, like, I didn't like it in comparison with other ranking systems, but at least it was added in. And what I'm
least it
talking
was
about,
there.
the turbo update was the following June after November, and that nailed the balance, but it took far too long for them to say, oh, let's dial back the DMR, let's bring up the BR, let's dial back the bolt shot, etc. So, okay,
Do you
I'm off
think they
my
do it on
soapbox.
purpose? Do you think they do it on purpose?
No, it's
No, you just think
resources,
it is-
dude.
So
It's resources and time crunch.
I did a video about this, and I think it's a shame that you spend all this time building Halo 5 up to be, you know, like a fully fledged, fully feature-rich Halo game to this point, and now it's going to go through the next few years. It's probably going to see a decline in population because more games are going to come out, and gamers are notoriously ADD focused. You know, we want the next shiny thing. And then all that work that you do, it all culminates at the end of a game's lifespan. You know what I mean? With this system that we've had with Halo 5. I don't know, man. I know that it is resource intensive. Like, no one wants to release a game in that state.
Oh, that. Pretend that didn't happen.
It would
You
have
have
been
like
better.
a child's toy in your house?
Yeah.
What is that?
That's my landline phone.
During the podcast, Rippin is just looking up at like a
still have
child's mobile
landlines?
spinning around his head, and he just bats at it every now and then.
It's a great ringtone. Don't diss my landline
Yeah,
phone.
it's-
I got like
it's fantastic,
$5.99
yeah.
from Argos.
Where was I? But I think that Halo 6, with the release of the Scorpio, I think they would be really smart to release it feature-rich and then continue building on it
Yes.
for a long time. Like have a base gameplay that is solid, have a base platform that's solid, and just build on it instead of trying to push, yearly sequels or a sequel every 2 years. I think they just need to use it as a platform.
So, wait. Who has played the game the most this last month out of everyone here? Because I've not played it at all in the last
Probably
month.
me. I've been grinding to champ.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I've seen the videos, actually, yeah.
It's tough because the season didn't reset, so I'm kind of fighting an uphill battle. And it was going good at first because I had a lot more time to play, but right now I don't have as much time to play. And because every day the threshold increases, it's like I'm just crawling my way up. And like right now I think I'm at almost 2,500. And at the start of the season, that would have been champ. But now it's like over 2,700. So I'm just constantly fighting an uphill battle. I will say, though, the series wasn't supposed to just be the goal of only being a champion. You know what I mean? Like, that would have been cool. But the goal of the series really was like to learn, what it takes to be up there, learn stuff about my shot. Because I'm constantly, not only am I playing those high-level players, but I'm forced to kind of look at my games and look at, okay, what am I doing wrong? And in my recent episodes, I'm kind of like coming to these conclusions, like, this is what I was doing wrong before, and I fixed it, and look at how much better I am playing. And a lot of people didn't see that early on with the series. They thought, oh, this kid's he's sucking in high champ, or in high onyx, he's just, a bunch of people were like, oh, he's just coming up with all these excuses why he's losing. But it wasn't about that. It's about that grind. It's about learning, how to make yourself better. I've really taken a lot away from it.
Yeah, good luck at being good at free-for-all without grinding. It is the hardest free-for-all game I've ever played, by far. It's like it's so hard.
I've actually played quite a bit. In Halo 5 somehow...
Oh, go ahead. My bad.
What's up? Oh,
I was saying what he's speaking about with it being hard. It's not like the games get harder. You don't play people that are better than you. You just play people that play longer, and they have more CSR because of that. But go ahead.
In Halo 5, I recently discovered, not discovered, but I recently found the allure of the Banshee, so I've been playing a lot of BTB and Warzone, and I finally put it together how to be good at the Banshee, and it's so fun. It's such a high skill gap vehicle, which a lot of vehicles aren't very high skill gap, and it takes a lot of learning, and it takes a lot of forward thinking, and it's so fun. And I'm not even really that great at it. Like, some of my friends are incredible at it. But yeah, that's kind of hooked me in Halo 5 for the past several months.
Did you ever see George, Naked Halo's Banshee stuff? Because he
the
was
Reach
just
one?
Unreal. Yeah.
He has a whole guide about Reach, or about the Reach Banshee. He does it with Game Sager, and explains all the things you need to do. And it actually applies really well to Halo 5. We should probably link it in the show notes or something like that. But it talks about, flipping to make your Banshee bombs go faster, and fast turning and all that stuff.
Yeah, he's a monster. That guy's awesome. I think I know he started his own company, and it's starting to take off, so I think he's stepping away from the YouTube side of things, but I loved his speedrun videos. That guy is super, super nice. So, all right, so we've talked about the Firefight content update. We've been talking about just people coming back, trying out the updates. I do want to talk real briefly about Bravo's remarks on Reddit about the growing Halo 5 population. The summary essentially is he made some positive remarks saying that the free-to-play period for Halo 5 ended up working quite well, and he released sort of the first little bits of population stats that we've ever had, even if it's not very in-depth. He said that the Halo 5 population has the highest monthly user base since Halo 3, and that had mixed reception from people. And the other thing that he said is month to month, excluding the free-to-play period, we have seen increasing numbers of players returning to Halo 5 month after month. So what's the controversy about, Luke? Why are people kind of frustrated with that monthly active user stat? Why did it cause a bit of a stir?
People are frustrated about it because they basically see that as, well, of course you're going to have more people coming back every month because you have content updates every month. And they kind of see it as them kind of doing a shady move to try to make it seem like Halo 5 has more players than it actually is. A lot of people also took what they said about it being the greatest since Halo 3 as it being as good as Halo 3. A lot of people didn't understand that language he used. I actually made a video on the subject, and a lot of people were like, oh, I didn't understand that he actually meant greatest since Halo 3 and not greatest Halo ever.
Yeah.
A lot of people also think, maybe they're lying about their numbers. Maybe it's a huge conspiracy to try to get, gain some good PR around Halo. Honestly, I would love to see numbers, not because I have to, see the truth in the numbers. I just think it'd be kind of cool to see the population spike. I made a video basically connecting my own analytics on YouTube with increasing in views and subs since the free weekend, and even after that. Basically, from what I can tell, it is true. Whatever's happening is happening, and we're getting a lot more players. Of course, we're going to have more monthly players than, say, or I guess recurrent players in like Halo 3, because we do have new updates coming out all the time. And a lot of people are looking at that as a bad thing, but that's a good thing, guys. If you have someone coming back to Halo every month, they're so much more likely to find a new love for the game and keep playing it on and on and on, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with them posting these numbers. It does say it is basically, they're. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I don't think that it's a bad thing that we have all of these numbers and then we have updates every month because people are just going to keep coming back.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a different view.
Go ahead.
As I usually do. I hope the numbers are good. I hope they're true. I know I've seen the comments of people saying that it's lying for PR. I don't think a company of that size would get away with lying about the numbers. I don't think that's a thing. But I would like to see the amount of unique consoles being playing the game in relation to the last games, because I know hundreds of people have multiple accounts because of the way the ranking system works.
Yeah.
And I want to know if that factors in, because I have 10 accounts for Halo 5, because every account's a different level, different search times. It's a pain in the rear end, but that's what you have to do when you've got one account that's high level. You just have to. Vetoed, who's a really popular streamer, has a new account every other week from what I see, which is because he can't find games on his other account, and that does carry over. And does it raise the population? Is it a unique player, or is it just a generic account? But good. More players are joining the game. I keep getting comments on my little channel saying, I'm a new player, I learned from this video, whatever. But it shows new people are coming into the game, and I think one of the reasons is people are starting to feel bored with Call of Duty. And I know it's a bit of a controversial thing, but I've seen a lot of people say Call of Duty now is just the same thing, and as we get a new Halo once every 2 years, they're getting the same game with a very similar formula every year, and the moving FPSs effectively. So I think it's good. I just hope it raises more, but I would love to see actual figures, because I don't know. From my experience, I don't see the population being that high, and based off the API data, it's not a massive population we have. We have around 50,000 people in Arena per month. That's not a great population, considering Halo 3 was in the millions per month. But, it's a positive. Let's just take it and get more players, and that's all I want.
Halo 3 also existed in a different environment.
Agreed.
Halo Reach had the same, though, had hundreds and hundreds of thousands, even just in Arena, and we have access to that API data still. And if you look on, I think Halo Charts did a population breakdown a while ago, and we'll ignore Halo 4 because I think that was an oddity where the population just disappeared after 3 minutes. But Halo Reach had a really good population, and if Halo 5 is beating that, that's really good. I think that's a sizable and respectable audience that we're still pulling in. I hope it grows.
I think it's definitely possible with new updates coming back every month. I mean, that's a new reason to pop in your Halo game. Even if you maybe put it down last month, there's a new update. Oh, I'm going to go check it out. And then maybe you find that drive to play again.
I'd love a population counter like the old school Halos. I'd love that.
Me too.
People hate doing it because it just shows the exact state of a game playlist. But I would love to see a population counter once again.
I think you won't see that happen, not just on a Halo scale, but it's across the board. Engagement for publicly traded companies, like 2 comments here. First of all, I really doubt that he's lying about this. To those that are insinuating that he's lying about this, if they were ever audited, they would be in massive legal trouble because that influences investor sentiment. Microsoft is a publicly traded company, and if it was found out they were lying about that, holy cow, the legal hellstorm that would descend upon them would be awful. But companies like Activision are going towards the engagement stat thing rather than population. I can tell you 1,000 different little engagement stats about Destiny, but I can't tell you the active population because they've never once released it. I can tell you there's 30 million registered players. Each of the accounts, on average, has over 100 hours of playtime, and people play for 3 hours a day. They have gone out of their way to never say what the active population is right now at this time. They've done the same thing with World of Warcraft as well. They're not reporting subscriber numbers anymore. They're reporting engagement numbers. And engagement numbers would be like, we had 87% of the player base engaging in this new activity that we did. Isn't that great? And this allows the company and the investor earnings calls to say impressive engagement stats that really impress upon the investor who's not a gamer what they think is positive. It lets the company really craft more influential, powerful stats that sell the game to investors more so than, well, we see that your population is down month to month. What's that all about, kind of a thing. So yes. I really don't think he's lying. I do think that if you just look on YouTube right now, it's very cool to see what I feel is a Halo YouTube resurgence. I started back in Reach. Reach was a growing YouTube scene leading up into Halo 4, and then Halo 4 came out, and it really curbed off hard, and I watched most of my friends just stop creating content. MCC was a barren wasteland, which, of course, it has to be because the game didn't function for 7 months, right? And now we're starting to see so many different channels working with each other and the views growing. And you could not name on two hands right now all the Halo YouTubers, which you could a few years ago. Now it's just exploding. And I think that is a direct tie to Halo 5 being more popular than 4 and more popular than MCC. So that's my 2 cents there. Lurker, what are your thoughts, man? Population.
Yeah. I would say they released engagement numbers with playlists, right? And Warzone was easily the most popular playlist, at least as far as those numbers were they released. I think that was several months ago. And I can see that too. I think that the arena experience is probably a little too hardcore for most of your average players out there just in the FPS landscape. It's probably, I mean, it's one of the more competitive console games out there, especially with the ranking system and stuff like that. I think a lot of people play Halo 5. I think a lot of people play Warzone. I think that reflects in the content that's popular in Halo 5 as far as YouTube goes. I mean, a lot of the Warzone focused channels are really exploding right now. And views across the board are huge. Like, it's crazy to me the numbers that some people pull in Halo 5 that were like unimaginable to me back in the day. You know, the most time that I spent Halo YouTubing, like when I was really hitting Halo YouTube hard, was during Halo 4 and MCC, which is like the saddest Halo YouTube time you can imagine. So I'm happy for the people that are doing really well now with Halo YouTube. It's come further than I ever expected it would.
I just did sub for sub all the way to 13,000.
Do you still get those comments?
No, sub
Those
for sub
guys
is
still
gone.
exist, dude.
I've never seen it. I still see the one where it's like, hey guys, or on montages, it's a very prevalent problem. Like, hey man, nice montage. And you know he didn't watch the montage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Go to my channel and check out some of my montages that I've been doing. And it's like, I still see those a lot, but I don't really see sub for sub.
My most frequent comment is, hey, I really like this video. Check out my channel for free copyright-free music. I get that all the time.
Really?
Yeah,
And you know in like 3 years they're going to claim it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows up in your this might be spam inbox. And
Yeah,
it's just
that's the
like
one.
20 of them. It's the same message on a bunch of your videos. It's like, come on, dude. At least try to seem legit.
Or on like long form content where they just like immediately reply 2 minutes after it's been released. They're like totally replying to the title of the video. Let's say it's like a 20-minute video and you're like, can the Halo population return? And like 2 minutes after it's released, some kid's like, no, it never will. This game's terrible. Ugh. And you're like, bro, stop responding to the title. Watch the thingy.
That happens
Okay.
a lot with Steaktacular. Because like,
Oh, yeah?
a lot of times they're 40 minutes long. And I'll get comments in the first 20 minutes of people like, no, you're totally wrong, dude. And I'm like, you haven't even watched the whole video.
Yeah. Let's have an argument about this intelligently,
It's
sir.
the internet, though. You can't
Yeah,
expect
it's
much more from the internet. You know,
With that growth, you get some of that cancerous aspect of YouTube too, because I feel like a lot of them probably turned their nose up at us, years ago because no one cared. it used to be uploading a video on Halo 4 or MCC, you would be guaranteed that whoever like commented on the video watched the video, and like I knew all the people that commented on my videos by name. Probably a little different now. There's just a bigger influx, which means a bigger spectrum of people watching Halo YouTube.
Okay, so before we move on to like the last couple of questions I have here, where do you think the biggest population exists within Halo 5? Lurker, you mentioned Warzone. Do you think there's much of a discrepancy between Arena and Warzone? I do think that Warzone is probably the more favored just because it represents the ideal social environment in Halo 5 right now, if that makes sense. What do you guys think?
There's more people watching theatre mode than playing free-for-all. To be perfectly honest. I think Warzone's probably 95% of the population.
Wow.
I would say
Maybe a bit less.
Slayer.
It's good. Slayer as well.
Slayer's
but
pretty big.
I don't know. It's good. Infection, I don't know. I'd probably say 80% plus in Warzone. From what I personally see, if I search in Warzone, game instantly every single time, including all the various modes in Warzone. If I search in Arena, I'm gonna go to the shop, gonna get a drink, come back, reset the search when it times out, and then I'll get a game. And I get that in social, or the social as they call it in Halo 5. Like this morning, Searching Fiesta wanted to play the game, so I really enjoyed that playlist, and half an hour on expanded, no games. So, I hate it so much. I could just sit here and rant for an hour on that, so someone else speak, please.
And maybe
mad.
maybe that Warzone population is not necessarily due to the fact that people like Warzone. Maybe it's due to the fact that the servers aren't great and you can't find games anywhere else, you know? And they play Warzone because they kind of have to. I agree, though. Playing it I can't play FFA in the morning because there's no one around. And I live in America, and America is the greatest country of all time and lets you play any online game.
Let me just stop you there.
Let you play any online game as long as you want, whenever you want. And I can't. My freedom is being trampled on in the morning because I can't play. An eagle comes to my doorstep. He's like, "You okay, bro? Like, you can't play FFA in the morning."
Yeah, you're not finding a free-for-all game until like late afternoon.
Yeah, exactly.
Anywhere in the world. That's just a fact.
Make Halo great again.
Oh, don't start that.
No, okay, we're pausing. Well, okay, I'm going to just bring up an example. I played SWAT last night for about 3 hours, using tips from Luke TheNotable to get lots of RP really fast. I also like SWAT, and it's the
Don't watch my SWAT video, it's horrible.
I
really got to unlist it.
The one that you did on how to earn rec as quick as possible on Chaotix. I love that. You
That was-
threw in
yeah,
some serious math there, dude.
Yeah, that was I love using that formula because, and people will say, you know, even in the video, I said, hey, I'm not going to answer any more questions of people saying, hey, is this new playlist better than SWAT? Because I said, just put the numbers in the formula and you can figure it out. And people are still like, hey, is Warzone Firefight better than SWAT? I get 2,000 rec points a game. Yeah, but the games are 25 minutes long, bro. That's what you're not realizing. So I love that video. I really do. I really thought that was a great video.
So I'm doing SWAT, like 3 hours worth of matches, and I run into the same crew of people over and over again. I'm finishing my placements because I don't play very much SWAT, okay? I end up getting Diamond 6, and throughout the course of 3 hours, I matched a team of 4 dudes, 3 of which were champions. I matched those guys 4 times, not in a row, but just throughout the evening. And every time I'd see them come up, their little icons, because they were all like Optic Gaming and CLG emblems. I'm like, oh, here we go again. And during that just small course of 3 hours, I was like seeing the same 12 to 16 people over and over again. Even if it wasn't those champ guys, I started recognizing all these names. And I'm just curious. I'm like, man, I wonder if this is just the game trying to get me into what it feels is the closest even match possible in under 3 or 4 minutes. Or is the arena population drastically smaller than Warzone? Because I can play Warzone for hours and not bump into the same people back to back. So I'm just throwing that out there. Your guys' thoughts. You probably have more arena experience than I do.
I actually have a tool, and I can look on the API and see how many people placed in arena per playlist per week. And there's some banging outside, so do ignore that. I think the arena population is pretty much non-existent, to be honest. I think Slayer is the exception. Because Slayer is Slayer, it's the biggest staple in Halo, arguably. But I think the population just isn't there right now to support multiple arena playlists, sadly. As I said, free for all, you can't find a game. And when you do, you match the same people every single day. It's like Halo 3 when you were playing in 2014, and you were still grinding Halo 3 when MCC was out. Mm-hmm. That's just how it feels, unfortunately.
Well, okay, further question then. We're coming into the last bit of the show, and I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think is next for Halo 5? What kind of content update or quality of life improvements would you want to see? We're sort of talking about why we think Warzone is so popular, and Arena doesn't seem to be as popular. Even in North America, at the high level, you see issues with finding matches. If you were at the helm of the 343 community team ship right now, what would you do for the next content update to try and remedy some of this or improve upon this? That way we can sort of end it with an upward positive
Ricochet,
swing.
100%
Yes!
Ricochet. You know why?
Why is it not back?
Yeah.
Because
Why?
Ricochet is such a different game mode than anything else. And it's... Oh, Lurker.
My bad.
Dude, even the police
Lurker.
know it's awesome.
But Ricochet is such a different game mode than anything else. Like, yeah, Oddball's cool. Yeah, Assault is cool. But Ricochet is like playing Halo basketball. Like,
I
Halo
love
rugby. And because if you release updates, what we've seen from what Bravo told us is that for the most part, people come back when those updates come out. So when people come back, they play Ricochet with all of the Halo 5, sprint, thrusters, all that. It's going to be insane. It would be crazy. And people would really latch on to that and be like, wow, this is really, really cool. This is so much different from everything else we've seen in the arena and Warzone. That's something you can do to breathe life into the game. I've always wanted Ricochet on Halo 5 because I loved when Ricochet came out for Halo 4. It was one of my favorite playlists. I grinded it all the time. And I feel like with all the movement in Halo 5, Ricochet would be perfect.
They had the Pit remake. That was the Champions bundle when that Ricochet thing came out. You could get the golden BR skin or that lime green one. I agree so much. Dude, make a video on it. I've wanted to make a video about, like, where is Ricochet? That game type was so cool. And with the movement abilities like Thrust Pack, you jump in front of the ball, you thrust, you grab it, you throw it to your bro. Oh, there's just huge potential, man. Huge potential. Okay, sorry, keep going.
Anyone else? I know I want very nerdy stuff. I want an XP system that makes sense. I want 1 XP for winning, none for losing, -1 for quitting, so I've got something to aim for. I want playlist XP from Halo 3, where you build up to a general if you've won 500 games in a playlist. He has longevity. I'm not a big fan of the whole credit system, never have been. I like the rec point system. I want that, and then I'd probably insert all key playlists back into the game. Ricochet being one, you'd like that back. Oddball, King of the Hill, and then even stuff we have in the game. Team doubles, is that back at the moment?
Community
I don't know.
doubles is in. Community doubles is in.
Okay, I have not played. Snipers, where's that?
Not in right now.
Not in. Lots of other small playlists you could think of. Action Sack playlists. And I was going to say something. What happened to the double XP and double rec weekends? They just disappeared.
Bro, I've said that so many times. How much more fun would the game be if you could come back on the weekend if you're like a guy that works a 9 to 5,
Exactly.
How much more likely?
I work 9 to 5. Weekends my playtime.
How much more likely are you to pop in Halo 5 if you know I'm gonna get double rec points?
Triple. At least 3 or 4 times more likely, easily. I don't even really care about the rec system, but when I know there's more on offer for a weekend playlist, like back in the day, we had SWAT Social, Double XP, Living Dead, Griff Ball, we had Flag, Oddball, King of the Hill, Prepare to Drop, Snipers.
It's a psychology thing.
Legendary Brawl, Mythic Brawl. We had loads more Double XP, and I remember playing all of those all weekend, non-stop, to get my playlist general in each Double XP weekend. Rocket Race. You could go on forever, and we need that. That's what I want.
It's a psychology thing. Even if you don't care about the rec system, I'm getting double of something? Well, then it must be good. It's like, when instead of selling you a TV for $400, they put it as $399.99, It's psychology, and it's that would bring people back, and I would love to see that.
Okay. Well, we lost Lurker again. His internet's been acting up this whole time.
He's lurking around.
Last question before we wrap up. When do you think we'll see the next content update coming? I believe that we would see one probably October, but that's just me. That's a very reserved look. They've surprised us before. Maybe there's an August one brewing.
That's what I was going to say.
When's the Forge update for PC? Do we have a date on that? Because I'd probably assume then.
I will look while you guys discuss.
I feel like with the seasons being 2 months now, content updates might go to 2 months, and they might either just try to make them more beefy or just kind of have them the same size but do them every 2 months. I feel like that's a good time frame, especially for a game that's 8 months old at this point. Like, obviously, I would like as much as possible. There is stuff in the game that I'm still missing, but if you could do it every 2 months, I think most people would be happy with that, considering we already got a bunch of cool updates.
I'd be happy with that. By the way, guys, I've looked into the API and I've brought up the playlist figures and numbers for the playlists, like the actual population stuff that we have public access to. Guess what's the most popular playlist in Arena, as we don't have access to Warzone stats?
Since you said it like that, I'm thinking it's something that's just like crazy, that like you would never guess. Is it?
You'd guess it.
Okay, what is it?
Team Arena this season so far has had 129,340 players. However, 55,000 of those players didn't play more than 10 games.
Yeah. Well, that's
so
Arena,
brings
though.
It down. Yeah,
Go
that's
get
the
your
most
face smashed in if you don't have a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, so SWAT is popular with 100,000 players. However, 50% of those players did not play more than 10 games. And the one that we think is the most popular would be Team Slayer, 130,000 people have played Slayer this season, but 50,000 have not played more than 10 games. And the least popular playlist, shocker, is Free For All, with 60,000 players overall, and 40,000 of them not playing 10 games or more, which means 20,000 people have.
But hey, that, to me, that's like a decent amount for that being your least amount people playing. 60,000. Yeah. That's a respectable number. Like,
yeah, and obviously that's based on the API that we do have. So 60,000 for the season. So in 6 weeks, I think the season's been going, roughly 6 or 7 weeks. So it's not great, but it's definitely not doom and gloom like I make it out to be.
Yeah, like I think it'd be hard. Okay, it's okay. It'd be hard to get a game again that would had the same population as Halo 3.
Different era.
Because it's a different era. There's more games out. It's hard to make that happen.
Yeah, so those are the figures that we have anyway.
Oh yeah, just for listeners who don't know, Rippin works with Halo Tracker. So if you're curious as to why he's got all the info and the inside scoop,
is that why you were number one?
No, back when I was number one for like Halo 3, Halo Reach, Halo 4, and Halo Reach Beta, boom, I've been number one in 4 different Halo titles. That's the nerdiest thing I've ever said.
You were number one in Halo 4?
I was number one in Halo 4 for the first
I thought Unyshek claimed he was number one in Halo 4.
No, he had the most 50s, but that's why me and Unyshek originally didn't get on. Because,
you just opened the beef!
Yeah, no, me and Unyshek are cool now, but back in the day, he had the most 50s, which is fine. And there's a backstory behind that, but he works for 343 now, he's a cool guy. And me and him got into some random issues. I don't even know where it came from. I think we were both just a bit immature back then. And yeah, we're cool now. No, he went number one for 50s, I was number one for like the score of aggregate score and stats, because I was a nerd who camped in a corner with a shotgun the whole time.
All right. So I think we're going to wrap up there unless there's anything else you guys want to add. But I think that overall, I found the last month and a half of Halo to be a rather positive one, with YouTube numbers increasing, encouraging population stat numbers, Firefight being quite the solid update. And look, I know people aren't excited about the fact that we don't know when the next content update is, but we know there's more to come down the road, which they could have just been totally silent, and this could have been it. You know, Firefight the update could have just been the end, and we're like, all right, boys, we'll see you in Halo Wars 2 in February. And we could have been left as a community going, what? What are we supposed to do? You know, like, what's next, man? So I think as a whole, things are improving and good conversations are being had, and the discussions that we had today are the things that I think the scene should be talking about. Thankful for updates, but how can we improve on this from day one, you know?
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks for joining me. Just any closing remarks? I'm going to ask each one of you, where can I find your content, and where can others find your content? We'll go Lurker, since Lurker's internet is super spotty, and then Rippin, and then Luke, okay?
You can find me on Twitter at Lurker0 and at YouTube at TheLurker0, THE Lurker0. Yeah, hopefully I don't cut out in the middle of talking right now.
Very good. Rippin, where can people find your content?
Yeah, just get me on youtube.com/Rippin, RHIPPIN, and I actually do have a series of videos about what I want to see in Halo 6 on launch, so it's good we discussed it today. Those should actually be live by the time this podcast is live, because I've not uploaded in a couple of weeks, but been focusing heavily on that because I want to get into the nitty-gritty. So that should be good.
Awesome.
And it's going to be positive. It's going to be positive stuff. It's not going to be my usual negative, this game sucks. Yes.
All right. Luke, where can people find your channel and your content?
There are 3 ways you can find my channel. 1, Twitter, Luke TheNotable. I just started that a couple months ago. Really enjoy it. I'm weird, so, you know, get used to that. But twitter.com/Luke TheNotable. You can find all my links there. You can go to youtube.com/user/Creelsbackfire. Don't ask why. Just go to the link. And I'm sure that link will be posted in the description of this video. And then third, interestingly, if you don't have an internet connection, you can get my videos streamed through your conscious mind if you take the blood of a goat and all of its organs and you create like a circle with a pentagram and then light the organs on fire, and all of my thoughts and emotions will be streamed through your head at 1080p at 60 frames a second. That's
chant Luke looking in the mirror 5 times.
Yeah, that's something, and you gotta chant "Notice Me, Senpai" a bunch of times. That's something that if you want, you can do. I mean, if you're running low on data, whatever. It's something that I offered in the fall, and people have been really happy with it. So,
Too much Pokemon Go.
Damn.
Oh my goodness.
Data package
Well, thanks,
exploded.
guys. Did you see the Dragonite video? The dude trolling everybody in Central Park. He just screams Dragonite next to
No
a giant
way.
group, and everybody runs and swarms. And he's like, "There's no Dragonite." It was great.
Oh, that's evil.
Thanks, guys, for listening. You can find us on Twitter at the Mythic Cast. You can follow me at BBKDRAGOON on Twitter. We'll be back with another Mythic Cast probably in about a month. We might even try and do it in about 3 weeks, depending on scheduling with other folks. But Luke, thanks so much, guys. Check out Steaktacular, and we will see you next time.